Oh, hello there. Yes, well, good grief it is, isn't it? Once again, hurrah. Yes, it's covered all of those bases. Yes. As I've got older, I've realised adults are really weird. I mean, just generically speaking, there are. You meet loads and loads of different types of adults in your life. Very few of them are in any way, shape, or form well adjusted. In fact, it reaches the point when I meet somebody who is well adjusted, I think, what on earth is wrong with you? Yes. And of course, what goes for adults generically goes doubly for males, or trebly, or quadruply, which of course has been in the news a lot at the weekend, what with, ITV dramas which demonise young white kids, or males or something. Anyway, come back to that in a moment, but just pointing at very strange ones. We had more from Enoch Burke at the weekend, being championed by Andrew Bridgen, inevitably, but Enoch Burke as I've said before, has now basically had his bank account frozen because the Irish government is very keen on the idea that he stops being such a pain and actually, buckles down into just walking away from it all. Now, I can understand why Enoch Burke does what he does, because after all, being the centre of attention is the most important thing in the world. Probably, you might say, the reason I make videos. Maybe, maybe not. Maybe it's for other reasons. Deep, eerie psychological ones. I mean, you might say, well, why does Andrew do it? Why does Andrew Bridgen do it? Well, of course, because he just basically is happy to lie for a living. And, getting those clicks means that he has to pick up every conspiracy theory. So here we have Enoch supposedly being the subject of some Machiavellian communist-style anti-Christian thing, whereas, of course, he is what we would technically call a nutter. Anyway, on to the substantive issue. Of course, the Netflix drama or ITV drama or whatever it is that's flavour of the month that talks about toxic masculinity. Yes, which of course is inevitably a bad thing, because whenever we talk about toxic masculinity, we mustn't talk about toxic males. We must talk about certain toxic males. And the right-wing commentary out will like to jump up and down and basically come out with, something which hopefully enables them to talk about the white working class and neatly make sure that it's separated from any other forms of working class. So in the drama, which is allegedly based on some black guy, the black guy is replaced by a white guy. Ergo, it's very bad. Because after all, only white people are victims, and only black people are criminals. So, for example, we have Toby Young. Yes, the boys in adolescence are constantly made to seem pathetic, childlike, and contemptible. Along with similar shows, it feels like a demoralising campaign against white British boys. Yes, indeed. Except, of course, it's just a drama which reflects modern life. As a teacher, I might have a few opinions about that. You may recall that Toby used to work in education. You would have thought he'd have a few opinions as well. But he, again, a bit like Andrew, only has opinions for money. Yes. I mean, we could mention, of course, all of his Twitters that he had to, get rid of when he became a government advisor on schools. But let's not do that, because that would be rude in terms of toxic masculinity and his weird obsession with breasts. And plenty of other people were at it at the weekend as well, in the sense that people like me somehow are doing things to young white boys that are very, very dodgy, and I don't mean it like that, obviously I mean psychologically, which makes them into gits, which apparently they weren't before, or are, or something. Yes, but the important thing, of course, is that whenever there is a problem, we need to pick it up, dust it down, and make sure that working class people don't think as a group, but into small segments. So therefore, if you are a white working class bloke, you're the victim, okay? But not the victim of people above you that have power. You're the victim of people either below you or on the same level who are all really bad, even though they might seem like your mates. There you go. On a wider level, of course, if you want to ratchet it up one level, we end up with all of the usual guff from the alleged educated ones. We haven't really moved on from what in sociological terms is known as the New Right in the late 1980s. You may recall people like Bill Clinton and his sort of 3 strikes and you're out, and, well, some very, very nasty people like Charles Murray and the stuff that he was saying. So what we get, of course, is Fraser Nelson, who manages to, well, just be wrong. Simply, the absence of male role models in the growing number of fatherless households requires ministers to break a taboo. Except it doesn't, because if you look at the number of fatherless households, it's remained, okay, slightly higher than it was in the 90s, but it's a pretty static and very, 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 very gentle slope upwards. But one might say, well, why exactly are all these households fatherless? Is it because of people like me that have, wokist ideas? Or could it be the economy? I mean, could it be someone like me individually, or indeed just a handful of people like me collectively, who have such a magical impact on the economy? Or could it be the people that actually have a huge impact on the economy? I'll leave you to think about that one, because it is very, very tricky. Still, might as well come out with the old ones. Speaking personally on the young males that I work with, because I work with quite a lot of sort of mid-teenage blokes, that kind of viewpoint of masculinity offers solidity in the world. It's a nice black and white thing. Oh yes, what the British media loves to do. Nice black and white world in which men are men and women are women. And there are strict biological reasons for that, aren't there? Maybe not, but anyway. Yes, it's very, very, very easy to fall into that line of thinking if, you haven't had a lot of life experience. Yeah, just don't have a lot of life experience, so it seems like the world will be like that. And then, of course, if you have nothing economically in your life, you can at least be the hard man. You can be the hard one, can't you? Yeah. Which leads, of course, to all sorts of issues in and around blokes, well, getting into fights and kind of stabbing each other, because that is the way that they assert their masculinity. If we had, potentially, not so much male role models, but actually, an object of desire for males later on in their life, like a decent job and some prospect of having a family with a house, maybe that'll work. I know, nutty idea, but maybe we could just try it, as opposed to the mantra of deregulation and tax cuts for rich people. Oh, and by the way, just, in case that doesn't work, maybe we can try it again. Or maybe we can try it again. Or maybe we can try it again. And if it carries on not working, let's blame everyone else for it not working. Not the central idea, you understand? Yes. I mean, if the economy is broken, then fix it. But don't expect it to be fixed somehow on the notion that people like me have to present a more masculine approach to the blokes that we work with. I can only be as masculine as I am. I like to think I present a fairly good role model to the young people. I meet an awful lot of misogynistic young people. I get on fine with all of them. And that, perhaps, is the central point, in that they can see within me something that doesn't fit into their spurious notions of absent fathers being hard. Anyway, do have a thoughtful Sunday. And remember, if it seems like a really, really, really simple solution, it probably is. And it probably doesn't work. Life is complicated. Human beings are complicated. And if you twist them and bend them in all sorts of nasty ways through nasty incidents in their lives, making them behave in ways that they feel they should do but basically are quite damaging, they end up being damaged adults. And bringing up children as a damaged adult isn't a good idea. Have a lovely one.